pumpkin pie a week early before Thanksgiving? Yes, I'm in. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, this is so good. Today I'm making the easiest vegan pumpkin pie ever. I love making all kinds of pumpkin pies at Thanksgiving and Christmas. I like buying my own squash or pumpkin and cooking that, but it's a lot more work. And these days, I think a lot of people just want something delicious and easy. So I want to give you this recipe before Thanksgiving because it's truly delicious and you'd never know it's that easy. And how easy is it? I don't even need a bowl. I'm just going to use my pie tin and my food processor, and that's it. And this crust is a gluten-free crust. It's one I found years ago. I don't know where I found it, but you know, I always mix things up in recipes, and in the end I change it around. And when I was gluten-free for 7 years, I used this recipe a lot. So I'm going to show you that one today because I haven't done it on my show, and it's really easy. So the first thing we're going to do is make the crust, and it starts with cashews. So we add those to our processor, and then we're going to grind it really fine like a flour. So we want to go more because that's still too coarse. When you make cashews into flour, it's a lot like almond flour or almond meal. So it's always going to be a little bit more coarse than, say, wheat flour, but you just want to get it really fine, but not butter. From here, it's really simple. We're just going to add 4 other ingredients. I'm going to add some brown rice flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of brown sugar. I'm using coconut sugar. And then I need to add water, but I'm going to give this a little mix first. Okay, and now our water. I'm going to add 3/4 of this, about 4 tablespoons or 6. So you can see it already came into a ball and I didn't need the other tablespoon or 2. That's why I want you not to add it all at once. To keep this completely oil-free, just lay parchment paper down. It's a little harder on the sides, so I just did a really light spray of oil. But actually this crust, because it's cashews, has so much fat in it from the nuts that I've done this without anything and it works okay. It's just easier to get out with a little bit of oil. The trick on this crust, because it's a pressing motion and not a rolling out and then placing it in here, you just have to take your time and just keep pressing, and you want to get it all the way up the sides. I like to try to do the sides first because the bottom's much easier. If I get to a place on the sides where I think I have a lot, you can just pinch some over and move it over. But that's my first goal, is always to build the sides. I like to take a measuring cup and go in like this. Now that I have it pressed in pretty equally, I'm going to go around the edge and make a beautiful edge. So just pushing your fingers . Okay, now I take a little fork and I just make some holes in the bottom. This just helps when you put fork marks in it for it not to blow up, because this is more a little bit like a cookie crust. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to put it in the oven, about 400 degrees, maybe 10 minutes. So while that's in the oven, let's make our filling. And like I told you, it's easy. We don't even need a bowl, and I'm not even gonna clean my food processor because it's just a few cashew crumbs. So let's start. It's really easy. We're just gonna add all of this to the blender. If you're using your own crush, you can do this in a blender. That's typically how I do it, but I don't wanna dirty my blender and my food processor, so this is fine. So we're going to do pumpkin. This is just 1 can of pumpkin. Use whatever your favorite brand is. I just bought this organic pumpkin from the can. Then we're gonna do some brown sugar, coconut milk. I think it's important in this recipe to use coconut milk. It's way thicker than any other milk, so I think it's not easy to substitute that. Maple syrup, cornstarch, and our spices. I'm doing ginger, cinnamon, cloves, my very favorite, and then I'm not a big nutmeg person. If you are, add more, but it's traditional, and I'm going to put a little in because it's the fresh kind. Time to blend it up, and we're done and ready to pour it into our crust. Let's give it a stir around. Smells good already. Okay, it's just been about 10 minutes. You can see the top part of the crust is already drying and getting brown, so probably when I cook it, I'm gonna cover my crust because, you know, it's gonna bake for almost an hour. It's always better with pumpkin pie to bake it at 350 and do it for an hour because it needs time to set. So it's just time to add the filling now, and then back in the oven it goes. Pumpkin pie has such an amazing combination of spices. The cloves and cinnamon and ginger. Oh my God, I love it so much. And I have one of these crust covers. I'm gonna see if this works. Okay, 350. I'm gonna check it at 45 minutes, but I hope I can cook it the whole hour. While we're waiting for the pie to cool, let's just make a little bit of whipped cream. So I'm gonna add my coconut milk. I'm gonna need to add some fat to this. So I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut oil. We're gonna do a little drizzle of maple syrup. And I'm gonna add a little powdered sugar just to make it a little stiffer. You can see I'm just making a little bit. It's like for 1 or 2 servings. So it's set, as you can see. It's a nice slice of pumpkin pie. Wow, that crust is really nice underneath. Very nice. Lloyd's gonna be happy. Early pumpkin pie. That's really good. I love those spices in here. The clove is amazing. That's so good. And as I said, it's a little bit warm, which makes it delicious. And you can see anytime it's a gluten-free crust, it's gonna be a little bit more like a cookie. But on the bottom, the crust is really much the same as a regular crust. This crust is so good. I haven't made this in a long time. I used to make this for everything. It is so good. So I'm gonna take a little of that cream and that last piece of crust. You guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is epic. It's so fantastic. This is the easiest pumpkin pie I ever made. And honestly, it's one of the best. It's really good. We got the taste test master, especially for desserts. Pumpkin pie a week early. Yep.
Still warm.
I know. It's better cold, but I got it as cold as I could for the test. Isn't that good?
Excellent.
I love you guys, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for subscribing. Last bite.